everybody, and welcome back to day 3 of Etsy Myth Week. My name is Lauren, and if you are just joining us for the first time for Etsy Myth Week, the other videos are already in the Facebook group, and we have talked about a ton of different things. So yesterday we talked about the star seller. That was a great discussion with a bunch of questions from people, so that was awesome. And what day is it? Tuesday, we talked about renewing listings, Etsy quality score, and what really brings traffic into your shop, and how some of those things can waste your time and money in your shop, which you don't want to do. So today we are diving into fees, money, profitability, and some myths that I hear about selling on Etsy and about running a profitable business on Etsy. I do want to just give you a quick reminder that the live masterclass that I am doing tomorrow, 3 key strategies you must master for Etsy success, is happening at noon. You do have to register for it. It is not in the Facebook group. It's on Zoom, because I have a whole presentation with a little bit more tangible learning slides and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you will sign up for that, laurenkeplinger.com/masterclass. Come live so you can learn and engage and hang out with me and ask questions. There will be a long Q&A, I feel sure. And the doors also to my signature program, Scale Your Sales, are opening tomorrow morning. I will be giving details about this special enrollment period at the end of that masterclass tomorrow. And there will also be an email sent out about that as well. This is a special discounted enrollment period with extra support, some personalized stuff, and a discount. So, all right, let's dive in today and talk about some of the things that hold people back from being profitable on Etsy or feeling like they can run a profitable business on the Etsy platform. This is actually kind of a timely thing, because there was a post in the group this morning from someone who was talking about how they had hit 6 figures in revenue just this year already, which is amazing, and that they were really thankful that they had their money pieces in order, because that can be a really big deterrent from actually making any profit in your business if those money pieces are all over the place. So I'm glad we get to talk about that a little bit more. So one of the things that I hear people say a lot and then repeat a lot is about Etsy fees. People will say, particularly newer sellers or people who are not as familiar with the way that fees are run on Etsy, they will say that Etsy fees are so high and Etsy is taking all of your money. I see that frequently. Etsy is taking all of my money. So I will be the first one to say that I think that the way that Etsy structures their fees are a little bit convoluted, and it's a little bit confusing to figure out exactly how you're supposed to do your bookkeeping. Certainly the way that they do their billing and payment account and how you download all of that is not the easiest to understand or the most intuitive way of breaking it down, if they were to ask me, which unfortunately they did not ask me. But I did go through, if you were around when I did the reverse engineering your profit goals presentation and podcast, on the video that I did in the Facebook group, I walked you through where to find all of the downloads so that you can understand where you're paying fees and how you download those files so that you can see what you're doing. However, when we're looking at selling on a platform, comparing platforms to platforms, Etsy has the lowest fees of any major platform. Are there platforms like Go Imagine or Fair or whatever, you can pull some random platform out of thin air and say, well, this one has lower fees? Of course, there are platforms out there that have lower fees. However, they are not major platforms, and they are going to have dramatically lower traffic and sales volume because they are newer and less well known. Etsy has been around the block for a long time at this point, and it's very well known in the handmade market. They have advertisements on major network television and all of that. It is well known as a platform for the kinds of goods that we're selling on there. For whatever reason, which I haven't really figured out, honestly, there have not been any major platforms that have come onto the market that have been able to compete with Etsy in a really significant way in terms of the traffic volume that they have. and also sort of the niche market that they're catering to. The closest thing that I think I would say probably is they are in competition with Etsy is Amazon Handmade. However, there are a few things about Amazon Handmade that make it really different than selling on Etsy. First off, I want to talk about the fees because that is kind of the whole basis of this live today, where Amazon Handmade fees are 15% across the board, 15%. Comparing that to Etsy is a really big difference. It's almost twice as much as what Etsy charges. So Etsy has the 5% transaction fee and a 3% payment processing fee, plus a couple other things like, I think there's like a 20-cent flat thing with your payment processing and stuff. Now, you could argue that Etsy offsite ads fees make the comparison between Etsy and Amazon Handmade a lot more comparable. However, with Amazon, you're paying 15% across the board for every single sale. With offsite ads, you're only paying those higher offsite ad fees for the sales that come from those ads, which is a fairly small portion of sales. So I actually went back and looked at my shop when I was preparing for this live. And for me, this year, 2021, it has been a total of 89 orders in my shop that were sold from offsite ads, which I do not have the ability to opt out of because I have too much revenue in my Etsy shop. So those are mandatory ads for me. And it's been a total of 89 orders, which sounds like a lot, but that is 4% of the total of the orders that I've had. So at the time that I looked back at my shop, I had 2,214 orders this year, and that 89 orders made up 4%. So you can see there that it's really not comparable to be paying 15% across the board for every single sale versus the higher offsite ad fees for only 4% of my orders. It's just not even a relative comparison at all. I would also say, which this is kind of a side note that doesn't have so much to do with profitability, but kind of does, that when you're comparing Amazon to Etsy, there is also a whole piece of Amazon, which is honestly what has deterred me from selling on Amazon more seriously, about customer service with Amazon. And people can do return things to Amazon for almost any reason. And Amazon, I would argue, probably 99% of the time will side with the buyer. They are known for your ability to return things. And for some people, that doesn't matter. For some industries, it doesn't matter. For me, with monogrammed, personalized items, that would absolutely not work for me. I cannot have I can't have people just returning things because they just decided they didn't like what they picked, because I can't resell them. So that's a whole kind of side note that can definitely do really detrimental things to your profit margins if you're having a lot of returns. So when you're comparing Etsy to any platform, really, but I honestly don't think that there is any platform that is a relevant comparison to Etsy other than perhaps Amazon Handmade. But there are these detrimental factors that Amazon has that Etsy does not have in the same way. I did a whole Facebook Live, which I have linked in the description of this video if you need a step-by-step of understanding what your fees are. But as I said, they are 5% transaction fees, 3% payment processing fees for US sellers. That's going to be slightly different if you're outside of the US. And then there are a few other fees like the 20-cent listing fees that are pretty negligible for your overall costs that you're looking at with your shop. The next big thing that I hear about being profitable on Etsy is that you have to underprice your competition in order to get sales. This is something that will be forever repeated because it's something that we naturally think is a way of bringing in more buyers. But I am just going to flat out say that this is not true. There is a misconception floating around that Etsy is a race to the bottom on pricing. And most of the time, because I know that I felt this way when I first got started selling on Etsy, this is perpetuated by people who are newer to the market and they have not figured out a way to stand out in their market, in their niche yet. So from somebody who has been selling on Etsy for a very long time, since 2012, please trust me when I say that most of the time people are not buying from your shop because of pricing. This is the reason why running sales most of the time does not work on Etsy. Actually, a lot of times it can be detrimental to your traffic, and why offering coupons doesn't really have the impact that you want it to have on your overall sales and revenue. Most of the time when people offer coupons, it does not increase their sales, it just decreases their average order value. because price isn't really the thing that's holding people back from purchasing from you to begin with. It's a matter of not having your SEO optimized so people can't find you. You just don't have the volume of traffic that you need to make sales. Or your listings are confusing, so your conversion rate is low, or your pictures aren't clear, or there's something about your pictures that makes the product not look very appealing to people, or they don't know exactly what they're getting because there's too much going on with the pictures. Unless your pricing is totally off the wall, like completely not in line with the market at all, like you're charging $40 for a simple hair bow and everybody else is charging $5, it's not going to be the make or break reason that somebody purchases from you or doesn't purchase from you on Etsy. Etsy is not really known for bargain shopping. If you've ever seen like memes or the kind of funny like gifs and stuff about Etsy online, it is for sure not known as a bargain shopping marketplace. So when you are making your pricing decisions for your shop, make sure that you're protecting your business and make sure that you're also protecting your time investment in making your products and working in your business and looking to that long-term strategy of how you're going to grow and make sure that your profits leave room or your pricing leaves room for profit so that you can continue to grow and move forward in your shop. There's been a lot of discussion, which I love, in the Facebook group recently about growing to a larger space, hiring employees, scaling up your business and your revenue, really growing to a much higher level than, working by yourself in your basement like I did for so many years. But you have to have the profit margins. And we talked about this reverse engineering your goals as well. Go back and watch that video if you need that step-by-step help. But you have to have profit margins built into your pricing in order to be able to grow. If all you are doing is like barely scraping by with your profits, you're always going to be in this reactionary space where you're not making enough money to take it to the next level. You don't make enough profit to, upgrade your equipment or add additional equipment or hire an employee or something. You're just barely scraping by with those margins. And that's not a sustainable way of running a business long term. Lastly, I want to talk about Etsy ads. Etsy ads are something that a lot of people talk about cutting into their profits in a way that makes it really difficult to run a successful business because they don't understand how to run Etsy ads or when to run them. First and foremost, I want to advise you not to use Etsy ads until you're already getting organic sales in your shop, and use them as a way to scale your revenue once you're having those consistent sales through organic traffic if you want to. But they are not a magic bullet to having more sales with a shop that is stagnant or struggling to get traffic to begin with. Etsy ads work off of Etsy SEO. The ads just give a boost to listings that are already optimized through the SEO. So if your SEO is not bringing in traffic because the keywords and the search terms that you're using are not aligned with how people are searching for your product, then boosting those misaligned search terms are not going to help it to get seen more. It's not going to really do anything. However, they can really eat up a lot of the profit if you're not monitoring them and you don't understand what you need to be doing for them to work better, because they're still going to charge you. If you have your ad budget set to $3 a day, they're still going to try and boost that post so that they can get that money through the ad revenue. I mean, if literally nobody ever clicks on your ads, then it won't cost you anything, but likely you will have random clicks and stuff. It will eat up that budget. It just won't convert to any sales. So then you're paying ad fees and you're not getting any sales. I will often see this play out with people when they're talking about, like I just had somebody comment on something recently that they were saying, like, I can't remember the numbers, but I sold a $30 item and Etsy only deposited $5 into my account. They're robbing me and stealing my money. And the problem there is the person is not understanding the fees at all, like completely. And they are likely not looking at what they have set for their expenses. And so they're saying it as, I sold this $30 item and I only made $5. Well, there's a whole lot else that's going on behind the scenes because Etsy's fees are not whatever that math works out to be. 85%. They're not that high. Etsy's not robbing you. They make the fees pretty clear of what you're having to pay. It's just a matter of you understanding and breaking it down in your shop and your profits and what your expenses are in your business so that you can know what you're paying. So a lot of times when I see that, when people are talking about, I'm paying 40% Etsy fees and I don't understand why, a lot of the times that is the problem, that they're paying for these ad fees and their sales that they're making from them are not aligned with how much they're spending. And so they're spending all this money on ads and it's just eating up all the revenue. So they're not really taking any money home. Ultimately, a lot of the information about fees and money and the profitability of your business goes back to having a really solid grasp of what your expenses are and how to run your business in a way that your revenue covers your expenses and leaves room to pay yourself and still have profits on top of that. But don't be fooled by rumors that you have to be the lowest priced item to be competitive in the market, that Etsy fees are too high, you'll never be able to make any money because they're going to charge you these insane rates to sell on the platform, or that you have to run Etsy ads to be successful. These are just rumors. There's a lot more to the story there. There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes that people are not understanding when they perpetuate these rumors, or they're not understanding exactly what that breakdown is, for example, with fees. And so they're saying like Etsy fees are crazy high. That's insane. But they're not understanding exactly what they're paying and why that math is working out that way. So I hope that this conversation has been helpful. I'm going to click over and look at the questions in just a second, but I want to make sure that you are reminded that that masterclass is happening tomorrow. This is the last day of the live in the Facebook group. Tomorrow it is on Zoom so that I can show my slides and know that Facebook is not going to screw up and not show them. That masterclass is 3 key strategies you must master for Etsy success. It is a step-by-step walkthrough of the 3 most important big picture strategies that I think that you really have to have a handle on to grow your Etsy shop in a sustainable and systematic way for long-term success. You can register for that at laurenkeplinger.com/masterclass. And at the end of that, also, I will be talking about my program, Scale Your Sales, what all that entails, what the limited time enrollment period is all about, with a discount and the additional support. So I hope you will join me for that masterclass. Does anyone have any questions about what I talked about today, or fees, or any of those kinds of things? I don't know if I can see the questions because Facebook gets really screwy. Let me see here. All right, I don't see any questions. So if you watch the replay here and you want to talk about profitability, money, fees, anything like that, let me know. And I hope that I will see you all tomorrow in that live masterclass. I'm very excited for it. Those classes always have awesome energy, a lot of conversation in the chat. I'm actually bringing in a helper to help me with the chat because it gets a little overwhelming for me because there's so much chatter and questions, and I love the vibe of it and the energy of the live class because people are excited and they're there to learn and it's just fun. So I hope that I will see you there. Register if you haven't already, laurenkeplinger.com/masterclass. Bye.